Hi, fourthies. Welcome to your Tuesday lesson for language. So go ahead and take your language books out to page 64. I'll put it here. Page 64. And as you're looking for page 64 in your language books, I want to remind you that tomorrow on Jupiter, I am going to put up your language test. So be ready for that, okay? Be sure that you have your Jupiter account ready and that you know your password and that you're ready for the test. It's going to be tomorrow on Jupiter. It's all prepared and I'll make sure it's up there. So please be sure you're on page 64 in your language books. Very cool. We're going to continue with our quotation mark series. Yesterday, I had a comic. I had a Snoopy comic, remember from Peanuts? And we had speech bubbles. Whenever people are speaking, whatever they are saying, the exact words they're saying will be in a speech bubble, right? Hello, like that. So we're going to use quotation marks for it. Remember, a direct quotation is a person's exact words. Use quotation marks before and after a direct quotation. The first word of a direct quotation is always capitalized. So here's an example. Quotation mark. Someday I will be a policeman. Quotation mark, said my little brother. Mom replied, spelling word, quotation mark, maybe you will do just that, period, quotation mark. Notice how they capitalize at the beginning of a quote. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to do some level 5 thinking. Take a look at thinking on page 64. It says, use proofreader marks to insert quotation marks around the direct quotation in each sentence. Oh, look, they gave you an example already. Mother said, I have invited Mrs. Andrews to dinner tonight, period, quotation mark. Ah, so I believe this should be easy because a while ago we had dialogue tags as spelling words. Here's a dialogue tag. So that should tell you where the quotation marks should go. And if you're a good reader, because you read a lot, you'll notice many dialogue tags throughout your books and your stories. So remember said is dead? Once in a while said is dead. But most of the time we should also be using cooler dialogue tags like laughed, chuckled, protested, ordered, commanded, stuff like that. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, Madison replied, I will be glad to set the table for you. Replied was a dialogue tag in our spelling words one. So I'm going to put my quotation mark right here. Now, I'm not going to use a caret, it's just too much work and too much. It's going to get cluttered if I put too many little symbols, and the quotation mark is fine. So that's where I'll put the next one. Okay, hope you see that. It's kind of weird. I'll fix it. Okay, let's look at the next one. Oh, Natalie's in the sentence. Natalie. Number 3. May we use the good dishes? Asked Natalie. So, now I know there's no comma here, but there's a question mark. It's okay because this is exactly what she says in her speech bubble. So I'm going to put a quotation mark here. May we use, let's make that smaller. May we use the good dishes? And this is what Natalie's saying in her speech bubble, asked Natalie. What a beautiful table, exclaimed Mrs. Andrews. Exclaim, wasn't that a spelling word? A dialogue tag once? So I'm going to put quotation marks here because remember, we have to try to imagine what they're saying in the speech bubble. So in this speech bubble that Mrs. Andrews is using, she's saying, what a beautiful table. She's not saying, what a beautiful table, exclaimed. Or she's not saying, what a beautiful table, exclaimed Mrs. Andrews. She's not saying all of that. She's only saying one part. She gasped. When someone gasps, they go, ah! Like they're surprised or they're scared or they're frightened. She gasped, ah! This looks like a Thanksgiving feast. So I'm going to put my quotation marks. Now notice there's a comma there. And also it starts with a capital letter already. So that's what she's going to say in her speech bubble. All right. How'd you do? Again, if you're a good reader and you read a lot, you'll notice these dialogue tags and the quotation marks and where they go. That's why it's super important to read. I stressed this so much with the 4th graders last year and I'll stress it again. Read, read, read. Alrighty, let's go to think B. More level 5 thinking. Okay. Use proofreader marks to mark capitalization. We like this. Last year I told the fourthies, wow, you all really like judging because that's what sometimes we're good at. but applying the rules, we forget. So, like I said, keep reading and you'll understand these rules of grammar. Number 1, Matthew asked, "Who is the new boy in the last row?" Oh, now he's saying something in a speech bubble. But remember, take a look at the very top. The first word in a direct quotation is always capitalized, like this. So therefore, let's go back to what Matthew said. Matthew asked, "Who is the new boy in the last row?" I need to capitalize the W in who. Very cool. "I don't know. I don't know him," replied Joshua. It should look already funny when the I is not capitalized by itself, right? Yeah, number 2, the I needs to be capitalized. That should look funny to you. Matthew suggested, "Let's go meet him." Huh. So again, we've got a direct quote. What Matthew is saying. I love the word suggested here. I need to capitalize the L in let's. "Hi, my name is Matthew," he told the new boy. Well, you look at that. I'm going to capitalize the H in hi, because that's what he's saying in the speech bubble. The Bible says, number 5, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly." That's true. If you want to have friends, you've got to be friendly. I need to capitalize something here. Do you see it? It should look funny to you. That's right, the A. All right, how'd you do? Good level 5 thinking. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need to slow down. Proof C. Wow, we're doing a lot of level 5 thinking here. In the blank, identify the kind of error by writing capital or quotation marks. So there's going to be a mistake. They're all going to have mistakes, but we just need to know if it is a capital mistake or they're missing quotation marks mistake. Alrighty. Number 1 says, "What a fun vacation we had," Justin told Macy. Okay. Well, Justin is telling Macy something. Why is there a leftover quotation mark there? It's as if they don't know where to put the quotation mark. Do you know where we should put it? That's right, at the beginning, right here. Because Justin is saying this whole thing in his speech bubble. I'm going to erase this part here. You can too. And in the blank, I'll put quotation marks. That's the mistake. All right. Number 2. He said, "My family and I visited historical places in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania." Does it look funny already? Do you see the funny part? You're probably already writing those 3 lines somewhere before I am. So yes, the my. M in my needs to be capitalized, and in the blank, I'll put capital. Number 3. Macy said that she saw the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Okay, now, here's where it's funny. Here, I'm going to draw Macy. Okay, here's Macy. She's got nice curly hair. She's saying something in her speech bubble. In her speech bubble, she's saying she saw the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Now, oops. This whole thing here is saying that's what she said exactly. She said she saw the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Now that sounds funny because Miss Severe doesn't talk like this. I just give you an example. So I'm Miss Severe. Whenever I'm talking to you, I'm not going to say, "Oh, Miss Severe went to the mall with Miss Severe's parents. She saw a beautiful dress at Macy's." I don't talk like that. I don't talk in the third person, and you don't talk like that either. Mason doesn't say, "Miss Severe, guess what? Mason went to the zoo on Saturday." That's not how, or Natalie doesn't say, "Miss Severe, guess what Natalie did on Sunday." Natalie doesn't talk like that about herself. You use I, right, when you're talking about yourself. So here, Macy is not saying these exact words in the speech bubble. So this is what we call an indirect quotation. So what I'm going to say is I don't need these. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it thicker. I don't need these quotation marks. Okay? Because I don't know what she said exactly. She said, well, she saw the Liberty Bell, but I don't know the exact words. So I'm going to say quotation marks. Okay. All right. So, remember these should be easy. Draw a dividing line between the subject and predicate parts of the sentence. Underline the verb twice. Underline the subject once. You can do this by yourself. In fact, you can pause the video and try 1 through 5 and then unpause it when you're ready to compare your work. Okay, ready? Now, remember, when I'm reading these, I can read them out loud, and then I can ask myself the question, what is happening? Okay. Oh, we're talking about capybaras again. Number 1, capybaras prefer habitats near lakes and rivers. What is happening? What are they doing? Well, capybaras prefer. That means they kind of like things a certain way. And who? The capybaras. And that's where I'll draw my line. Do you need to erase something? If you do, just go ahead and pause the video and unpause it. Number 2, a capybara's ears are on top of its head. What's happening? Oh, well, it's on top. Are. That's it. It is a state of being verb. What are on top of its head? Ears. Oops, that's not cool. The capybara can hear well, even when mostly underwater. What can the capybara do? What's happening? What can they do? They can hear. Remember, we've got that car. We got the verb phrase car driving down the street. Ah, that's weird. Okay. Ooh, there we go. Big wheels. And what can hear very well? Well, the capybara. Its eyes and nostrils are also found near the top of its head. Whoa. So again, what's happening? It's mostly a state of being verb. Are. What are on top of its head? Eyes, nostrils, line. Because of its good senses, a capybara can often escape its predators. What is it doing? What's happening? What can a capybara do? Well, it can escape. Ooh, this is an oh no, my friend. Often is not something you do. It's more of an adverb because it explains how often you do something. What can escape its predators? What's the subject? The capybara. How'd you do there? All right, so when we go to our meeting today, if you have any questions, especially about direct quotation and indirect quotation, I will try my best to explain it. But thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you're prepared for the test tomorrow on Jupyter. Again, make sure that you have your Jupyter account. If you don't, please, please, please get in contact with Principal Weldon so he can set that up for you. All right, friends, see you at our meeting.